Good late Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, giving you an update on the weather situation here in this late afternoon time frame. Maybe a little bit later than normal because we do want to wait for that update on potential tropical cyclone number 6 to see if it's upgraded to tropical storm Fred. Maybe here in the 5 o'clock update. Not really sure if that's going to happen or not, but we're waiting for that information to come on out from the National Hurricane Center. But while we do so, we'll go ahead and look at some of the afternoon storms first off, and then maybe go over that track once again. The 11 a.m. Information before that new track does come on out from the National Hurricane Center there in Miami. Right now, you do see some storms around. This will be adding to that rainfall as we look here for the month of August. And then if a system were to come in early next week, then that could cause some big time flooding problems because we're really concerned up toward areas there around Dixie County. The flood warning for that area extended for a couple more days all the way to August 12th now. I'll go ahead and see that actually here over on our other source. Let me go ahead and pop that up here. You'll be able to kind of see what I'm talking about with this. As you can see here toward even Levy County, some storminess in play right now, but parts of areas around Lafayette and Dixie counties under a flood warning right now. So just got to be careful here. And you do see some storminess in Bradford County as well. I know a first day of school there. Hope it went well for everybody, but we do see some storminess here on State Road 100 right now as we're going between Stark and Lake Butler. Seeing some of that. So maybe people still trying to get home from school, maybe a little bit later on, getting into some of that. So just have to kind of keep that in mind here this afternoon, and just folks even heading home from work here at this point. You see Lake Butler as we're getting toward Union County, some storminess, Lake City, Columbia County. So we're going to keep our eye on all of this. And again, though, we're watching the tropics very closely because the overall scenario would promote something developing here, evolving, moving on maybe closer toward Florida. You can see some of our forecast models here as of just a little while ago indicating this here, moving maybe toward the Florida Big Bend. But first off, maybe impacting South Florida here. You can even see one of our models of this is a Cat 1 hurricane. So that's something to bear in mind. Some of those hurricane models trying to get this a little bit stronger here, deepen that pressure some. So we just have to be cognizant of what will probably become Fred, maybe even just in the next little bit here. So just be mindful of that as we look on down here where the system is. It's going to impact Puerto Rico, the hurricane hunters as we get toward the center of the system. You do see they've been out there trying to find things, try to find out lowest pressure, the strongest winds. You're kind of seeing things look pretty disorganized overall here, but let's go ahead and pop on up our satellite viewpoint right now. We'll pop up our meso here, and you can kind of see they were out here a little earlier on, and now we're watching as this kind of starts to try to impact Puerto Rico there. So we'll watch for that potential toward the islands and just see how things are impacted down there. So let's go ahead and move away from the GOES satellite, just trying to give you an idea of the structure of this. We'll now go on over towards some of our tropical graphics here and transition on over toward that part of the cell. As again, we do wait for that latest update. I'll display it on here. You'll see those white icons shift a little bit based on the latest update. May see it eastward shift a little bit based on some of the model guidance. We'll just wait and see that. Some of the model guidance you're not even really seeing on here. I know some of the information behind the scenes have indicated, like the icon model, for instance, maybe an eastward shift. Just something to kind of bear in mind here as we go over the graphics. You see tropical climatology. This is the time of year when we really start paying attention, folks. So just be mindful of this here. And unfortunately, I know with this system here, potential tropical cyclone number 6, it does have a 90% chance of developing here. We're going to have to watch for that one. Maybe even another system behind it. There's some models that develop other things as well toward the Atlantic Basin. So unfortunately, at some point, may end up seeing some disruptions to that school schedule here. And too early to make decisions right now, but if this track were to hold, there's a decent chance here some of our counties would be out of school on Monday here based on a scenario like this. So this is something though that's subject to change, could shift ways, maybe off the east coast even of Florida. That's not completely out of the question. You can see the cone there right now just barely clipping off the east coast, but there's a chance even that it could be outside the cone. That's not out of the question though. There's a pretty good consensus consensus here that it'll impact Florida in some form or fashion. So just got to stay on guard. You kind of see it strengthening here too a little bit more than what we were looking at yesterday. You have 45-mile-an-hour winds maybe as the last update at 8 p.m. Saturday off of the Keys, but then on your Sunday here, maybe a 60-mile-an-hour tropical storm indicative of a stronger system that could be more impactful. And then again, that rain is a real concern up toward Lafayette County there, as well as Dixie County. So just have to be watching for that threat here because of this pumps in that moisture like it could. That could definitely be problematic. Again, Fred's the next name, maybe Grace developing downstream later on. We'll just have to wait and see. But you kind of see that moisture fetch, unfortunately, in the forecast here over the next 7 days. We'll keep you updated on this potential. But looking off of southwest Florida here, watching some of that moisture there. Maybe right now the thinking of just tracking toward the Tallahassee, Apalachicola area is there. Maybe not quite as much rain off toward the east here, but still enough. It could aggravate the situation, aggravate the Steinhatchee River there. So we'll just have to kind of be watchful of that, watchful of what could happen. You see maybe a little less rain toward the first coast here. That'd be good news. But if this shifts, as tropical systems obviously can, one way or the other, then this forecast would shift. It could shift that pretty dramatically. So something to keep in mind here. As we look on over now, your 7-day forecast, we've gone ahead and turned our logo red here because of the tropics threat. We're watching that very closely, especially Sunday, Monday, even maybe some fringe impacts late Saturday. We'll just have to wait and see, especially as we look maybe toward north central Florida if it were to track a little bit further off toward the east. So, and even the first coast, if again an eastern track was a little more realized there. So again, you see 40% chance of rain on your Wednesday. So we'll be watching for that scattered shower, thunderstorm action that we're talking about Thursday and then Friday kind of dropping off a little bit. So that's some good news here. And then as you look towards Saturday, of course, Bobby Bowden's funeral service there, 11 a.m. on the Florida State campus. There, that's going to be the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. So we'll be watching that forecast very closely. Right now, it's looking like the worst of the weather will hold off for that. But could impact some travel plans if we kind of have folks maybe leaving more towards Sunday here, because Sunday, Monday look to be again a little more impactful as we've talked about. Here's that look at things as we get later on in this time frame. You see 70% chance Sunday, 70% chance Monday, and then maybe some lingering moisture on the south side of things by Tuesday, a 60% chance of rain around. You see the temperatures kind of increasing there a little bit as well. So we'll just kind of keep an eye out for that. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of those cameras across the region. As again, we're waiting for that new update. It hadn't come in yet from the Hurricane Center, but we'll go ahead and give that to you. So we'll stay on again a little longer maybe than we generally would. Maybe it'll come out a little bit earlier so we don't have to kind of take a little bit extra time. But we have other stuff to talk about here. I just wanted to go ahead and run through some of that. So we want to give you outdated information on the graphics here earlier on. But local viewpoint is where we'll take the radar real quick. You see some of the storminess. So I think the Baker County camera could be a pretty interesting one to pop up here if we do have that. If not, we can go to another camera that we have there toward maybe Jacksonville. So let's go ahead and go toward Jacksonville here. You'll be able to see what's happening. And you can hear that thunder. That kind of tells the story here, folks. So with some of that lightning starting to come into the vicinity of even where I'm at. So again, I just have to be kind of aware of that. I mean, catches you a little off guard even there. So this is our weather stem shot. So again, just kind of looking at this right now there in toward Jacksonville. You see some of the darker skies in the background there. So let's go ahead and look outside since you heard that thunder. I think that's a good reminder to go ahead and shift this on over toward a viewpoint here. A viewpoint over here toward the Stark area. So I know the wall's a little thinner here, and the way we have sound will be a little louder than what you get on a traditional television broadcast. I bet that was pretty loud there, and you can see some of that storminess in play right now. Might even catch some lightning on the camera. So I think that's a good reminder. Just remember, when thunder roars, you want to go indoors here. you definitely want to go indoors because you don't hear thunder, and all of a sudden you have some thunder, and it could be close enough to strike you if it's in that small range. You hear maybe a rumble. I heard some rumbles earlier that were pretty far away, wouldn't be able to pick up on the mic, and then all of a sudden one right there almost over you. So it's just the way things can go here this time of year. We're still in summertime. A really good reminder of that this afternoon. So again, let's see what else we want to go to. I think we'll go over to a zoomed in look here at the Bradford County Doppler radar here. So let me go ahead and show you what's kind of happening. We are getting some formation here, pretty quick formation. That's kind of reasons, kind of it matches up here. The reason it makes sense because we'll pop this on. You can see this is the current frame, but the frame before, not much and then not much at all. So that's 5-10 minutes of rapid thunderstorm development here in Bradford County. So I've seen that here within the radar. We just got a new update. They have not upgraded it to Fred. Still just potential tropical cyclone number 6. So that's something to bear in mind here. Advisory number 5 with a disturbance now south of the Virgin Islands. So we'll see that updated information in just a moment. And that'll be kind of here to wrap things up. You guys see some of the storminess again toward Lake Butler we're watching. That's kind of moving more off toward the west, it seems. This is too, but it's developing right here in Bradford County. So that's going to be a pretty nasty commute home possibly here, 301-100 area, depending on when you're headed home. If you're doing it now, it just kind of depends on exactly how long these storms hang around. They're unpredictable this time of year. And you see now 301, Roy getting the bulk of the moisture here. So that's kind of telling a story here around southeast 146th place, southeast 144th terrace, southeast 45th place here, as well as southwest 136th way over toward, looks like even moving the map over a little bit toward the west here, we have the McCrae Landon Road area. So I just want to be kind of watching out there as well. So there's your viewpoint. We also have some severe weather up north. I know we had quite a few tornado reports yesterday up north. We now have enhanced risk of severe weather, more for damaging winds today, though, more with that linear threat. So, again, watching things here towards dark on the camera. I think I might have saw a flash there just now. Hard to tell, but as we go ahead and shift on over here toward our Iowa viewpoint, we have a thunderstorm watch, and I think that flash was realized there as you now hear some thunder in the background. But again, looking here toward areas there east of Des Moines, north of Davenport, there in Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, pretty soon going to be getting into some pretty nasty accident. I believe this is a year anniversary of a derecho that occurred here, a very significant derecho that occurred in the state of Iowa. So kind of definitely seeing some nasty weather, not as impactful maybe as what we saw last year. We're not seeing the considerable warnings, but standard warnings can still cause some issues, and we're watching more toward Wisconsin and Illinois later. A watch is likely to be issued over here. You kind of see with the orange on the screen there that enhanced risk. In fact, I'll go ahead and kind of break this down a little bit here. Let's go on over toward our other view here where we have Rockford, Madison, Milwaukee, Ottawa, Davenport, all under this here. Enhanced risk of damage and destructive winds in the states of a little bit of Iowa there, but also Illinois and Wisconsin. So watching for that. Now the tropics, we just got that update, so let's go ahead and sit back down to Florida. And then you see in the Gulf now, the latest update here, they're still going with 50-knot winds here at 18Z, 2 p.m. on Sunday, as we're looking maybe west of Tampa, west of Pasco County, something like that. Here it's this white icon, so let me go ahead and take off the other information. Again, this is coming in from the National Hurricane Center, so they're kind of having a trajectory, on a trajectory toward maybe the Big Bend still here, as we kind of saw with some of the models, and you see earlier on as I move this down, maybe it could end up being a little closer towards South Florida. We'll have to wait and see. It doesn't seem like they've shifted it too much. I don't have the line on here to be sure, but it looks like they kind of have it more going over toward the Keys at this point still. Again, we were talking about some of our models earlier, though. You see our H-warp model here, taking it a little bit further off toward the east. That could be maybe a little more impactful towards South Florida, a little less impactful up north based on some weakening. So we'll kind of watch out for that. You see even the GFS model doing that, but TVCN a little east, so they're even west of that. I thought they might go a little east there, the TVCN kind of be in between, but you just never know. Things are still evolving because I need to make this point here too. Hispaniola could kind of break the system up some and make some of the forecast model information now maybe not as pertinent. This has this right over there, 2 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll know a lot more. Maybe by the time we get into early Thursday, once this passes there, depending on if it's just a shell itself, if it's almost all the way gone, or if it's really holding its own. If it's really holding its own by then, we could have some troubles downstream later on. So that's why we're concerned. We have that logo red. We don't need to be caught off guard by a threat. I mean, this could be a situation like Elsa. It's not out of the question. Could be less of an impact than that, more of an impact. We just don't know here at this point. And that's why you need to stay tuned for the latest information. As of course, we'll stick with you all the way through this event. We don't know, again, what could happen. As you see here, the hunters out there, and you see that center there, Puerto Rico, southeast of San Juan. The latest update there, the center, I'll kind of put a marker on it. And I'll point it out if you can't see that marker. It's right in here. So just watching out here as we're looking south of Puerto Rico. Going to get some impacts there in Puerto Rico. And again, there's your track. There's your official track in the white. Getting that on your screen. You see that moving in toward the Gulf of Mexico. That's 2 p.m. Sunday with 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds according to the Hurricane Center. So that's what we're going to be watching for right now. That's the expectation. I mean, we had Elsa here make landfall with winds that are not too much stronger than that even. So you just have to kind of be on guard there. As we were watching that system about a month ago, and we haven't had a named storm since, still not quite yet, but that's probably going to change here pretty soon. Let me click on the actual advisory information here from the National Hurricane Center right now. I'll pop this up for everybody at home so I can read it off to make sure we don't have new watches or warnings. I need to tell you about, again, it's south of the Virgin Islands right now. No new changes here, no changes. New information in terms of watches or warnings, but maximum wind 35 sustained right now. That pressure 1,012, so it's not a very deep system. So maybe we can get this broken up some more over Hispaniola. That'd be great news, of course, but just got to continue to watch. 90% chance of development, gradual strengthening forecast over the next day or so, and going to be having to watch for some rapid river rises there as we're looking toward the Caribbean. Heavy rainfall could lead to flash, urban, small stream flooding. Mudslides possible there. And toward the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic as well. So, again, the new information just coming out. That's the breaking news right now. I think we pretty much covered everything else. We have a new severe thunderstorm watch, by the way, to Warport, Illinois. So let's go over there real quick. We can see that. That just popped on into our system. So let me go ahead and switch you up here. You do see a threat here around Marshalltown, Iowa. You see our risk area that we were tracking, and then you see here the new watch now, Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee, all under this here as we kind of even put on some of our border information. You can see that here as we get on over toward East Rockford. You saw the other watch already in play there. That one goes to 1Z, which is 8 o'clock central, the one toward the east. Now, the new one that just popped up, this one right here, that goes until 10 o'clock tonight Central Time. So, again, watching the tropics. We'll keep you up to date on everything that goes on with that, giving you all those forecast details that you need for that back to school forecast. We'll also, of course, give you an update on that forecast for Bobby Bowden's funeral service there on Saturday, just to kind of see how things might be on I-10 for those of you traveling out there, or just depending on where you're at, you might just be traveling up maybe from McCulloch County or heading in from Bainbridge or Quincy, something like that, and you still want to know that forecast for that important event. So, again, we'll go ahead and wrap things up for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're keeping an eye on the tropics. We'll be here giving those latest updates here as necessary. But for now, if there's any severe weather to let you know about, we'll break in for it. Of course, no significant weather advisories of note right now. There is one for Calhoun County, Georgia, so we'll watch that. That's for winds maybe in excess of 40 miles an hour. That was issued a little while ago. A strong thunderstorm in that vicinity. We'll have to watch to see how much rain falls toward Dixie County. But the storm around Store, no significant weather advisory right now, but it can still be dangerous with that frequent cloudy ground lightning a possibility. So I just got to have to watch out for that here. And, of course, we'll be doing that here in the Weather Center. You have cloudweather.com/radar when we're not on the air. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.